Emotion is not the master. Decision is. The true millionaire does not consult his feelings before he acts. He consults his purpose, and if the action serves his purpose, he proceeds. If it does not, he discards it, but never does he remain in limbo. Limbo is where weak men drown. This must now become your morning discipline. Take one definite step each day toward your financial aim, regardless of emotion or circumstance. No excuses, no deferral, no apologies. One step every day. A letter sent, a plan written, a contact made, a product improved, a page completed, a decision executed. This is not about speed alone. It is about obedience to direction. Direction without action is fantasy, but direction with action is wealth. You will not be rewarded for what you planned. You will be rewarded for what you completed. Many men speak of their dreams. Few ever translate them into motion. The man who does becomes a magnet for momentum. And momentum, once gained, does not belong to the cautious. It belongs to the committed. You may ask, but what if I act and make a mistake? I say, then you will learn faster than the man who waits. Mistakes do not ruin men. Delay does. The successful man corrects course in motion. The failing man perfects a plan he never dares to follow. Repeat this now and do not speak it passively. Say it with strength. I decide quickly, I act boldly, I move without permission. Wealth follows the man who moves. Say it again. Let the old habit of hesitation be drowned out by this new rhythm of decision. This is no longer about doing something great someday. This is about doing something definite today. Speak your aim aloud. Choose the next step. Take it, then tomorrow take the next. This is how men become kings, not by talent, but by decision. You will find that life begins to respond when you move. Doors open, resources appear, people offer help. Why? Because the world does not trust those who are unsure. It gravitates toward those who are resolved. Your confidence invites opportunity. Your movement commands respect. And even if you begin small, the consistency of action will build a force around you that hesitation could never achieve. Now listen, if you have been waiting, this is the day that ends. No more preparing to prepare. No more talking about what you will do. Do it. Write the message. Make the call. Begin the product. Finish the plan. Move, and then move again. And if you fall, stand up and move again. Action is the proof of belief. Without it, your dreams remain a fantasy. Let this be the new identity you walk in. I decide quickly. I act boldly. I move without permission. Wealth follows the man who moves. This is no longer suggestion. It is your command. Say it before you act. Say it when you feel fear. Say it when you would rather wait. And then move anyway. There is no such thing as idle speech. Every word you speak is a command. Every phrase you repeat is an instruction to the subconscious. You are either directing your mind toward wealth or toward poverty, and the line is drawn by what exits your mouth daily. If you would think and act like a true millionaire, then you must now speak like one. Not when the money appears, not when the business succeeds, not when others believe in you. Now before proof, before praise, before progress, because it is your voice that awakens the power within you. This principle is called autosuggestion, and it is one of the most powerful laws of success known to man. It is the act of feeding your subconscious mind the instructions you desire it to follow. The subconscious does not distinguish truth from falsehood. It does not reason. It obeys. It accepts what is repeated with feeling, and it works night and day to bring that command to pass. If you repeat lack, it builds limitation. If you repeat fear, it creates paralysis. But if you repeat abundance, wealth, and decision, the subconscious aligns your entire being to fulfill it. This is why I tell you, you do not wait until you are wealthy to speak like it. You speak it, then become it. A man who says, I can't afford it, is teaching his mind poverty. A man who says, "I always fail," is hiring failure to live with him. But a man who declares, "I am building wealth, I am guided by law, I am becoming powerful," is planting the seeds of riches into the soil of his mind, and he will harvest accordingly. Every morning, your subconscious awaits instruction. And whether you speak with intention or drift into chatter, it listens, it records, it obeys. So ask yourself, what have you spoken today? What words have you placed at the foundation of your future? Have you rehearsed complaints, or have you declared commands? Have you spoken vision, or have you repeated defeat? Let me tell you what every true millionaire does. He speaks his definite chief aim aloud daily. He speaks it with power, with clarity, with fire in the voice and belief in the belly. He speaks it until the subconscious accepts it as law, until every part of him walks and acts as if it were already accomplished. This is not fantasy. This is formation. And the man who does this does not merely wait for riches. He becomes rich in identity first, and reality follows. You must now develop a ritual. Each morning, before the world invades your mind with its fears and doubts, you will speak your aim aloud, not passively, not quietly, but as a king declaring his next conquest. You will look yourself in the mirror and say, "This is who I am, this is what I do, this is where I am going, and nothing will stop me." And if your voice trembles, speak anyway. If your faith feels weak, speak louder. Because the subconscious does not respond to feelings, it responds to repetition with emotion. And every time you speak with intention, you are building yourself into a man the world must respect, whether it wants to or not. Now let me warn you, to speak fear is to rehearse defeat. To speak limitation is to give it life. Many men sabotage themselves not by what they do, but by what they say. "I'll never be good enough. It's too hard. No one will listen to me." And with every utterance, they dig a deeper hole, not in the world, but in their self-image. You must not be this man. You must now guard your mouth as carefully as your money, because what you say becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you do, and what you do becomes your result. Say this now, and say it with strength. "I speak abundance, I instruct my mind, I reject all that opposes my calling." Say it again, not like a wish, but like a decree. Speak it like a man who is no longer begging for change, but commanding transformation. This is the discipline that separates the wanderer from the wealthy. Not luck, not background, speech, thought, repetition. If you do this for one day, you will feel different. If you do it for 1 week, you will walk differently. But if you do it for 30 days, without fail, without apology, without delay, you will not recognize yourself. And the world will not be able to ignore you, because your internal declaration will become your external demonstration. Remember, your world follows your words. The man who says, "I always struggle," will. The man who says, "I am becoming great," will. You do not describe your life with your speech. You create it. And the wealth you seek is waiting for the man who refuses to speak against himself another day. From this moment forward, you speak only what you seek. You rehearse only your rise. You affirm only your authority. And you build your self-image into a fortress of certainty. Speak again. "I speak abundance. I instruct my mind. I reject all that opposes my calling." And then act like it. Excuses are the language of the defeated. The man who leans on them has already made his decision. He has chosen comfort over conquest, validation over victory, and ease over elevation. The man who makes excuses has already rejected success. He may speak of wanting riches, but in truth he has bowed to fear, fatigue, or the approval of others. And no matter how well-dressed an excuse may be, it is still a rejection of action, a denial of power, and an abandonment of duty. If you would become a true millionaire, not just in possession, but in stature, you must now burn every excuse you've ever spoken or believed. You must understand this. Very few people will understand your ambition, your desire for more, your rejection of average, your appetite for responsibility. These things threaten the comfort of those who have settled, and so they will call you proud, foolish, unrealistic, obsessed. They will laugh behind your back and sometimes to your face. But listen to me and listen well. This is the price of elevation. Every man who rises must first endure solitude. And the higher you rise, the lonelier the path becomes, until you are surrounded only by those who have paid the same price. Let us speak of Abraham Lincoln, a man who endured insult, betrayal, failure, and isolation. He was called a fool by his enemies and a disappointment by his friends. He walked often alone, bearing a vision too large for those around him to grasp. But he did not break. He did not bend. He held to his belief, not because others supported him, but because his inner voice would not let him retreat. That voice, clear, definite, and unshakable, became his companion when men fled, and his compass when the world seemed lost. And because of that, he became not just a president, but a force of moral authority that outlived his body. John D. Rockefeller faced similar scorn. He was criticized, attacked, accused, but he understood one thing. The world does not grant greatness to those who need applause. It yields only to those who have the capacity to walk alone, if need be, with clarity and persistence. Thomas Edison worked in laboratories where no one visited, toiled in silence, and failed thousands of times, all while being dismissed as mad. But he listened not to men. He listened to the vision that lived inside him, and because he did, the world now lights its cities because of his decision to persist in solitude. You will not be the exception. If you desire to build wealth on your own terms, you will have to walk alone, at least for a season. You will have to leave behind the approval of the familiar and step into the judgment of the unknown. You will have to silence your need for comfort and obey only one voice, your own, the voice of your definite purpose, the voice of your higher calling, the voice of the man you are becoming. And let me give you this command as clearly as I can say it. You will not need a crowd. You will need obedience to your inner voice. The crowd will waver. The crowd will mock. The crowd will shift with the wind. But your voice, when trained, when disciplined, when anchored in purpose, will not fail you. And when the day comes that you succeed, the same crowd that doubted you will call you fortunate, gifted, even brilliant. But you will know the truth. You simply refuse to follow them. Now I must speak of something many avoid, the weakness of excuses. Each excuse you make is not only a delay, it is a betrayal. Excuses weaken a man's character. Each one is a seed of self-betrayal. When you say, I would have, or I couldn't because, you are not protecting yourself. You are subtracting from your own strength. You are telling your subconscious that failure is acceptable so long as it has a story. And soon, your life becomes a museum of stories instead of a monument of achievements. You must now become ruthless with your excuses. Identify them, burn them, replace them. If you are tired, act anyway. If you are afraid, act anyway. If no one believes in you, believe in yourself and act anyway. Action is the antidote. Obedience to purpose is the cure. Let this now be your affirmation and speak it with force. I walk with vision, not opinion. I do not need applause. I need direction. Say it again. Say it until the old part of you that required company dies, until the need to be seen is replaced by the desire to produce results. Do not fear walking alone. That path leads to sovereignty.